Shalom, call Lord Yahweh Bashem Abishai, Bashem Bakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the confusion of faith joined unto our ranks, to the scattered elect, the few aquaf that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm, coming at you with another lesson in truth from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. I turned on my screen and, on my computer getting ready to do a lesson. And first thing popped on my screen was the video. Oh, actually, I turned on my phone. This was in my YouTube phone, feed on my phone. It was this countless Americans are living in their cars, and another one said something to the effect the epidemic of poverty here in America. So, I decided, well, you know what, that's the spirit, because a video that I was going to go into, the elder Yahshua had already touched on it. The one about the uproars around the world. And so that culminated with this, the uproars around the world, and then the living conditions here in Babylon. You clearly see the plagues are forming and falling upon America. As a matter of fact, let's get a scripture. Let's go to Revelation, the 18th chapter. And then I'm going to read verse 1 and 2. And it reads, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and hold of every foul spirit, and every cage of unclean and hateful bird." All right, I'm gonna drop down to verse 8, and it says, "Therefore her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahweh power who judgeth her." And when you look at the amount of the weather, the fires, the inclement weather, these different diseases, these super bugs that are plaguing America and the world, it's all happening at once. And you got uproars going around the world all at once, and everything that the men of the Lord have been warning you about on TV. Everything's that we've been warning you about is now starting to play out even on your televisions. All right, and the mainstream media kind of distorts this here in Babylon. They don't really show it. Okay, so without any further ado, let's let a little bit of this first video play of Lisa Cabrera's video.
Ladies and gentlemen, a few weeks ago I was reading some articles on the homelessness that's going on out in California. And they said the problem is really getting out of hand. And one thing that is happening in America is more and more people are living in their vehicles. And it's becoming the norm. Now, I would like to thank one of my subscribers, JG, for sending this article, June 12th, 2019.
What happened to the American dream? Living in your car is becoming a norm. I watch videos where people trick out their cars and their trucks to turn them into living. I watched one about a guy who converted his Honda Element into a personal house and camper. Honda Element is a great vehicle, by the way. I'm actually considering getting one myself. All right, because it's roomy inside, and this was probably why he did it. It's very comfortable inside, so he made a sleeping and living quarters in the back of it.
From Zero Hedge. I'm not surprised. America has a deep hatred for anybody that is struggling through life.
Actually, America puts people in a position to struggle through life. Okay? The policy here does that.
Get angry at people that are poor, and they have the audacity.
They just watched a video about yesterday how the guy was saying that that you can't say that the Chinese are taking our jobs, the Mexicans are taking our jobs. These super rich elites, these oligarchs, Edomites, Esau Edom at the top who own these companies, they send all the jobs overseas. They send all they open up their businesses in these foreign countries where they don't have to follow the own laws that they created here. Then they're able to hide their money in the taxes and just grow wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. And meanwhile, America is losing its luster, and Americans are ended up sleeping in their cars.
Audacity to say pull yourself up by the bootstraps, knowing damn well every damn thing has been handed to them, and they got a lot of nerve. Saying,
Yeah, I agree with her because it was handed to them because their forefathers stole it. Something that they don't like to talk to. You know, this cognitive dissonance when it comes to revealing facts, man, or this looking the other way. You know, plausible deniability when the facts are presented that prove your case. They just look the other way. They don't care about the facts. All they care about is what fills their bellies. All right, let's click out. And this creates an unsafe environment for you too. You're vulnerable when you're in the car. This is looks like a small child. Could be Northern Kingdom or Moabite. I can't really tell. Let's click to another video. Living in my truck while I never sleep in parking lots. Okay, so let's play a little bit of that one.
So I'm just going to make a quick video on a weird situation I found myself in the other night, sleeping in my truck in the parking lot. And yeah, sleeping in random parking lots and stuff isn't ideal. I always try to avoid it. So this is my truck. It's a 2003 Tacoma. Got it set.
Another really good vehicle, by the way. You know, if you're going to get, because everyone's buying used vehicles now. And the Toyota and Nissan, depending on the vehicle, and Honda are pretty much the best vehicles that you can buy. You get the bang for your buck, man. Real talk.
Up with a camper shell and a little room in the bed. Back living at my house now mostly, but was out this past weekend and was headed home. It was getting pretty late, so I decided to pull off the freeway and sleep in what looked like a pretty quiet parking lot.
So he got a little dresser. I imagine one drawer is for clothes, one for food or whatever. And he got stretchers on the top so he can hold things. He's got his little setup, got his little bed. All right. He turned the bed of his truck into a sleeping quarters. All right. To a living, well, at least he could sleep and change or whatever. All right. So that's your American dream, man. Let's go to Isaiah 14 and 11, and it says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and worms cover thee." All right. Verse 12, "How hast thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How hast thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nation?" So Esau, Edom, his pompous arrogancy has now got him sleeping in parking lots. All right. They can no longer afford to homes. This has become the American dream. To get a reliable vehicle and set up a bed in the back of it. You know? Now in some post-apocalyptic fallen government sort of thing, look at on the other hand, he's already prepared, man. He's better off than most people. Because if he got a full tank of gas, at least he can just jump in his car and try to get as further away from the mass populations as possible. And survive a little bit longer so he can go somewhere and die in peace. But let's let a little bit more of his video play.
I'll just go ahead and show it here. By the way, guys, this encounter isn't action-filled or juicy or anything like that. I don't get out and square up with a guy. So if you're looking for that kind of content, you're not going to find it here. So it was probably around like 1:30 in the morning when I heard someone walking on my truck. And whenever you're seeing,
you can
somewhere
see me
public,
more than him.
Walking around outside your truck, it's always a little bit alarming. So what you'll see here in a second, he pulls out his phone and starts taking pictures. It looks like my license plate or something like that. I'm not sure why he was doing this. So I thought maybe I wasn't allowed to park there, and he was taking pictures of my license plate. But it's kind of odd to be doing that at 1:30 in the morning. And he didn't look like a security guard or anything like that. Also, some of you may be wondering why he's not able to see me in the back. And where I was parked, the street light shined into the cab, but the camper shell has really tinted windows, so it was pitch black in the back where I was. So after he'd done a few laps around my truck, and I could tell it looks like he's up to no good, he comes back around and tries to shine his flashlight into the back of my camper shell. You'll see here in a second. And I just bang on the window, and he takes off running. So he probably wasn't expecting that.
So while he's trying to sleep,
But yeah, that was.
this guy, pops up and starts, going around his truck. So I'm gonna assume that he was trying to look for something to steal, man. He's trying to see if the truck was open. He tried to lift the hood. He tried to open the doors, and he was trying to see if there was anything in the back worth cracking a window and stealing. He wasn't expecting anybody to be in it, man. But that could have backfired on the guy completely and totally. And then he said how he jumped out and got in the driver's seat and drove to another place and slept for another 5 hours. But this is what America's coming to. Let's look at this one. Middle class Americans forced to live in their cars. Let's check this out.
Just before 6 p.m., as others start their commute home from work, Teresa Smith heads towards this unassuming church near downtown San Diego. But it's not religion she's after.
Now I'm going to tell you, she looked like she was one of them. Let's go back a little bit. Well, let's let it play. Let's see Teresa.
It's the parking lot.
This is our office.
Teresa looked like she was one of them proud women on the job. She was a manager, telling men what to do. Now look at her. Her van is her office. Who's she telling what to do now?
What we use. So we have our file cabinet that has our paperwork, basic toiletries, snacks that we get in for donations. We want to ensure that our participants have what they need.
Smith and the nonprofit she founded, Dreams for Change, run what's called a safe parking program, renting the lots from this church and a youth center nearby. It's one of a dozen programs and 85 sites, largely along the West Coast, that provide a safe haven for the roughly 59% of the homeless who have lived in their cars.
How's your caseload?
It's going good.
Okay.
Smith started the first lot in August 2010 when a new face of homelessness emerged from the Great Recession. Middle-class individuals and families accustomed to security and stability, but suddenly...
Oh, so it's okay for the middle class who are accustomed to security, to safety and security, but the other people who've been struggling all along, they're not. Wow.
cast adrift in long-term unemployment.
They would go down to the shelters, come back in tears saying, that's not me. I'm not really homeless. I'm just in between right now.
No, you're homeless. See, that's that pride, man. That's that pride. You just left the shelter. I'm not really homeless. I'm in between. You lost your home. America is done, man. These Edomites are done, and they're so proud, man. They're going to be proud till they take their last breath. This is Revelation 14:8, and it says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is falling, the great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right, so all this fornicated wine that America has prescribed to all the other nations is backfired on them, man. It's backfired on them. So she got there, who, me? Yeah, you. Yeah, you. You're done. All right, let's go to Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. We'll wrap it up there. Clean hold your peace, cause you rock. Lock you. Big boy think he own the street. Can't nobody walk down the street without his permission. Lock you. Hey, but at least he doing his job, right? Said, what good is a dumb dog that won't bark? This is Ecclesiastes 12, And 3, and it reads, and in that day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. And a lot of that happened in this video. All right, the grinders are few. That's why these people were lost their homes, and their, all the jobs are disappearing. All right, and that guy was looking out his window. It was dim. All right, he looked out his window, instead of seeing bright sunshine, he saw a dude lurking around his truck, looking to break in and steal his belongings, man. All right. Verse 4, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music is brought low, man. And this place has been completely brought low. You got this woman setting up a non-for-profit safe parking situation, where they go from church to church and different businesses to rent the parking lots so that they can house middle-class Americans and give them a safe place to sleep. That's what it's come to. Hand claps. Call halal Yahweh Shem Abba Shai Bashim Wakakwadash Wa Abba Babal.